I just did some yard work. Don't mind if I'm sweating, please. But also done a lot of talking today. But what I want to talk about today is the second game that I ever created. And for some reason, I cannot find any information on the first game I ever made. I don't even know what it was, but I know that this was my second game. I've always talked about this being the second game I ever made. And I've been looking over it. There's not a whole lot to it. There's not a lot of pieces in it. So I know I never finished it. But for some reason, I can't see anything broken about it yet. It seems to work really well, and everything's laid out really well, and there's simplistic elements to it that just everything really vibes. But not just that, but these were my character cards. These cards were a friend of mine, and I don't know whose cards these were, but that means that I at least had two other people playing this game. Because not only do we have cards that are set up character cards, but we have our stats already selected, our names, our teams. We have gold pieces, so there was a story behind our characters. We may have even had a tournament. So there are two names that I've given to this game, and I'm not sure which one I had finally decided on. I know that my brother wrote some of this so some of this is in his handwriting, and some of it's in my handwriting. And at the top, in my brother's handwriting, it says Magic Users. But this set of rules, which are absolutely only written in my handwriting, it says Magic Rulers. So either I call the game Magic Users or I call the game Magic Rulers. So it's one of those two names. But here's another weird thing. This page that has all these things on it, there's magic abilities and there's items for sale. It says that there are 20 items sold. So I had to have played this, and the characters have items that are all drawn into the character cards. And I just can't think of why I stopped making this game. And the more I learn about it, the more I read about it, it just seems like something that would work. So before I continue any further, please don't steal. I might end up doing something with this, and if you think it's a good game, well, I mean, let me know, because I seriously have an interest in coming back to this and finishing this. That my second game ever worked on that I started to make. So I'm going to continue now, and I want to just say that I had planned on covering all the other games that I had designed. Just I have all this stuff. I planned on covering them all in one video. And I've got two games that I'm not going to show you because one of them is finished and good. And just like it's a little math game on a board. And the other one is something that I'm still going to make. Oh, wait, I have a third one that I'm still planning on making that's way more complicated, and it is board game style that you may have heard me talk about this. It's the one with the magic arrow that can just kill everyone on the map. But I got super excited about this one, trying to relearn it in order to talk about it. So whether it's called Magic Rulers or Magic Users, here it is. So I'm going to read what I had written about this. And for some reason at the top I say water and wind, whatever. So you start out with two characters. That's why we have two cards each. Oh, excuse me, it's a little chilly and I did that yard work. Okay, so you start out with two characters in the first town. Each character has a type of magic power to start out with. And I have a list for that. After each battle, the winner gets to roll 2d6. The loser gets to roll 1d6. The number or numbers that they get are added to their bonuses. And the bonuses are things that you can spread out. So you deal health damage, HP. You deal speed damage so that you can lower your opponent's speed if that's possible. And you deal a type of damage to magic defense, I think is what it is. But there's an overall damage to your skills, and it looks like it actually, no, it doesn't look like anybody ever got to roll. So maybe I hadn't decided to officially start the game, but I did test play it because we bought items for our characters. But you're making your magic stronger by winning battles, and even by losing battles because you used magic, you still get to be stronger. And that's something that I've carried on to many different games, is this idea that it doesn't matter whether you win or you lose, you're gaining experience. It's not really fair that somebody could spend all their time working really hard in a battle and then lose it and then thus not gain progress. And it would almost make sense for the loser to roll twice because now they need to catch up. You like my art? Anyway. Their bonus can be used at any time to learn a new skill. So if you don't want, and your bonus isn't permanent, you can put it on a damage type for one of the skills you already have, or you could store it up. It's almost like gold, except gold is more used for something. Where does it say? Small, medium, large. Okay, so it doesn't say how much these things cost in bonus points. But the items themselves that you can have in your inventory, those cost points. Gold points, gold pieces. If someone wins a tournament, then they get a new character with the magic power of their choice. When someone wins the main tournament, they and their characters get to use a second type of magic power. And I'm going to pull up, who do I want to use? I'm going to pull up Heather Lamar here. So we have Heather Lamar, and it trust me, it's that faded. It's not the white balance. And they are part of the Ice Gemini group. My team was called Vanilla Sky. And the other team was Knights of Fury. And that does not help me understand who this was. Although, Xanto might be my brother. And then we have 40 gold pieces. Also, you see what their magic power is. Their ice. And then their extra magic. So this is where, if they learned a second magic ability, this is where this would show up. And then they have their god magic power. So if you win a tournament twice, having a third magic ability, which I didn't write about, I am going to assume is just you get the large of whatever magic or some kind of more powerful magic out of your third choice. But it could be a combination of two other magic powers. So then I have what is probably one of the most confusing things that I've ever had on a character card, that I had to relearn what I was doing. And I have this over here. HP 50. Simple, right? -7, -2, 41. Well, there's also a -0 there. Now, at first, I thought, so I was writing and erasing on these note cards damage from battle, but I'm not actually, because there's something else involved here. And that is that your character does not start out with 50 HP. All the character cards say 50 HP and 50 speed. But if they have a certain ability, they actually lose HP for having an ability, and they lose speed for having the ability. But they also lose HP and speed for equipment. So over here on May from Knights of Fury, I have a -5, -20, and a -12. They are a fire user, and they have a small bag, a staff, and a book. Now, one of these items, and if I could see over here, red liquid, which I believe is not that bag. Colored bottle, no. Yellow liquid, no. Third count in a bottle, I don't know what that is. Orange dust, blue dust. So this is a dust of some kind, and they would have written this down. But there's some kind of instruction that's missing that says what the penalty is for carrying this. But because they're carrying around this dust, they might lose -5 HP and -12 speed. That might be the staff. Carrying around the dust might be the -12, -7. Carrying around the book could be the -20, -2. I don't know. There was some kind of system that is lost because it's not here for these, but it is here for the spells. Sorry for the sniffles. Because fire magic, if I were to learn a small fire magic, says magic powder, -5 HP, -12 speed, and it is a 5 damage spell. While here, Fire Blast is a 12 damage spell, but it says +5, +6, +3, so it's a 26. So there's probably bonuses from the powder. If you decide to use the powder, there's a bonus from the staff, and there's a bonus from the book. Maybe. Here, there is a spell. No items. And yet 2 negatives, 2 minuses. There's a minus to HP, there's a minus to speed twice. And the spell Ice Toss has a +1, +5, +0. So they're getting a bonus from something, and it would have to have been explained on another sheet of paper that I do not own. But I know it existed, because otherwise I wouldn't have been able to write this down. So I'm thinking at some point I had a sheet for my characters that explained where their minuses came from, where their bonuses came from. There was a sheet outside of the store that also talked about that. But let me see if I can figure out the rest of what I wrote down here. Oh, and I've got a what beats what, and then how they're written on the back there. I didn't know it was there until just now. So each town has a stadium to fight in. When you win, you get your character, and anyone can go with you to the next town if they want. I don't know why I wrote it that way. What I'm saying is, if you win, you and whoever wants to come with you can move on to the next town. As soon as all of the town's tournaments have been beaten, the Skylake Laboratory, neat name by the way, will open. The Skylake Laboratory holds the main tournament. When someone wins all of the other, when someone wins the main tournament, all of the other towns' tournaments are reopened. So if I won, let's say, Linolia Town, well, that tournament is closed until someone beats the main tournament. And then once the main tournament's beaten, then Linoleum Town, or whatever I called it, will reopen for another battle. Limiting the amount of characters that can have more than one magic ability. And sometimes, you're not going to want to send somebody in to fight somebody else, and that's why you get more characters as you win tournaments too. So I have here fire beats element in ice. This is around the time where the word element in my games, in my lore, was referring to plant life. Water beats fire and ground. Lightning only beats water. Ground is equal or nullified by lightning. Fire and ground, I guess. I'm not sure what I was going with there. I think it means that it's neutral damage and doesn't really do more one way or the other, but does damage to it. And then ice does normal damage possibly to water element in ice. Not sure why I would say that and then not include that fire is equal to fire, but whatever. I have this written in a way: ground equals lightning, fire and ground, ice equals water, element and ice. And what does element do? I don't know. And then on the back here, I think I included a separate rock, paper, scissors chart that says cosmic plasma beats light, and light beats shadow, shadow beats blood, and blood beats cosmic plasma. Second game ever made. Who knows? Maybe it could have been cool. And I have all of these skills written out. So that's it. Yeah, that ran way longer than I thought it would. And I'm going to have to do a separate video about the... if this is the second, this would be... What was this? The fourth game I ever made, because I don't have the third one. I don't have what came after this. And although I don't remember what it was, I do know that this next one was my fourth game that I ever made, because I played something in between this one and the next one. So, magic users, magic rulers. What do you think? What did I do wrong? Why did I stop making this? Could this continue? Could I do something with this? Is it dead? Could it be revived? I don't know. Stay tuned for the next one.